A note to our viewers, we received news after our production deadline that actor Eric Dane of the TV shows Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria died at the age of 53. You can find his obituary and learn more at our website, Legacy.com. Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com in the third week of February 2026. Visit Legacy.com to read full obituaries for most of the people featured in this video and leave your own condolences on their Legacy page. Musician and record producer Jerry Kennedy died February 11, 2026 in Nashville, Tennessee at the age of 85. He was one of Nashville's great session musicians, playing guitar and dobro on classic songs like Harper Valley PTA, Oh Pretty Woman, Stand By Your Man, and many others. Kennedy is also being remembered for his work as a producer, especially on the music of Jerry Lee Lewis. Baseball player Elroy Face died February 12, 2026 in North Versailles, Pennsylvania at the age of 97. He was a relief pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 1950s and 60s, including pitching in several games when they won the 1960 World Series against the New York Yankees. He is being remembered as the Baron of the Bullpen, a six-time All-Star and a member of the Pirates Hall of Fame. Face was a U.S. Army veteran who served in the 1940s. Actor Robert Duvall died February 15, 2026 at his home in Middleburg, Virginia at the age of 95. He was a giant of the silver screen, with unforgettable performances in The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Lonesome Dove, To Kill a Mockingbird, and many others. He is being remembered for winning an Academy Award for Tender Mercies, in which he portrayed a former country music star turning his life around after hitting rock bottom. Duvall was a U.S. Army veteran who served in the 1950s. Reverend Jesse Jackson died February 17, 2026 at the age of 84. He was one of the greats of civil rights who worked alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1960s and continued the fight for racial equality and social justice as the founder of Operation Push and the Rainbow Coalition. Jackson is being remembered for a lifetime of activism, including breaking down barriers with 2 historic runs for president. He was honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Actor Shelly Desai died February 10, 2026 in Los Angeles at the age of 90. He was best known for his roles in Men of a Certain Age and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, among dozens of other TV appearances. Desai is also being remembered for his performances in movies like Thelma and Louise, Escape from L.A., and Here Comes the Boom. Musician Tim Very died in February 2026 at the age of 42. He was the drummer for Manchester Orchestra, the Atlanta-based indie rock band known for songs like I've Got Friends and The Gold. Very is being remembered as Manchester Orchestra's longest-serving drummer and the heartbeat of the band. A note to remember, sometimes personal information, such as someone's cause of death, is not announced immediately by their family or the authorities. When a cause of death has not been officially confirmed, we do not report on rumors. Every family has a right to their privacy. Football player Trey Johnson died February 15, 2026 at the age of 54. He was an offensive lineman with the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Browns, and he was a Pro Bowl pick in 1999. Johnson is also being remembered for his later career as a history teacher and coach in Maryland. Songwriter Billy Steinberg died February 16, 2026, at his home in Brentwood, California. He died of cancer at the age of 75. He wrote some of the most popular songs of the 80s, including Like a Virgin, So Emotional, and Eternal Flame. Steinberg is being remembered for his heartfelt lyrics to True Colors, made famous by Cyndi Lauper. Basketball coach and player Doug Moe died February 17, 2026 in San Antonio. He died after fighting cancer at the age of 87. He was a charismatic and influential head coach for the Denver Nuggets, San Antonio Spurs, and Philadelphia 76ers, and he was named NBA Coach of the Year in 1988 when he guided Denver to a Midwest Division title. He is also being remembered for his years as a player in the ABA, including 3-time All-Star honors with the Oakland Oaks, Carolina Cougars, and Virginia Squires. Moe was a U.S. Army veteran who served in the 1960s. Businessman and engineer Hideki Sato died February 13, 2026 at the age of 75. Nicknamed the father of Sega hardware, he developed almost all of Sega's gaming consoles, including the SC3000, Mega Drive, and Sega Saturn. Sato is also being remembered as the former president of Sega. Filmmaker Frederick Wiseman died February 16, 2026 at his home in Cambridge, Massachusetts at the age of 96. He pioneered a new style of documentaries in which he simply presented footage without narration, allowing the story to tell itself. He is being remembered for shining a light on institutions like schools, hospitals, and the justice system. Wiseman was a U.S. Army veteran who served in the 1950s. Animator Jane Baer died February 16, 2026 at her home in Van Nuys, California. She died in her sleep at the age of 91. She was one of the first women to work in animation, beginning her career at Disney, where she worked on the classic film Sleeping Beauty. Baer is also being remembered as the co-founder of Baer Animation, and for her work on animated favorites like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Black Cauldron, and The Rescuers. Actor Tom Noonan died February 14, 2026 at the age of 74. He was a character actor whose wide-ranging career included roles in RoboCop 2, Heat, Last Action Hero, The Astronaut's Wife, Synecdoche, New York, and many others. Noonan is being remembered for his starring performance as a serial killer in the cult classic crime film Manhunter. At least 8 people were killed on February 17, 2026 in an avalanche during a backcountry skiing expedition near Lake Tahoe in California. Since February is American Heart Month, I want to note that thousands of the unforgettable life stories published at Legacy.com this past year have been dedicated in support of the American Heart Association. Like this beloved grandmother from Gary, Indiana, who served her community as a public school teacher and guidance counselor for more than 25 years. This Texas professor, who was one of the first women to serve on the Austin City Council, and whose friends remember her as, quote, the epicenter of all things wonderful. and this renowned cardiologist and U.S. Air Force veteran who went on to become the first African American president of the American Heart Association. To read their obituaries and to donate in support of American Heart Month, go to Legacy.com and click on our heart disease memorial today. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 10 years ago this week, author Harper Lee died at the age of 89. She won a Pulitzer Prize for her novel To Kill a Mockingbird, which was adapted into an Academy Award-winning film. 10 years ago this week, Denise Matthews, better known as Vanity, died at the age of 57. A protege of Prince, she was the lead singer for Vanity 6, who had a 1982 hit with Nasty Girl. 25 years ago this week, race car driver Dale Earnhardt died at the age of 49. He was one of NASCAR's all-time greats, a frequent champion who was nicknamed the Intimidator for his aggressive driving style. 30 years ago this week, actor McLean Stevenson died at the age of 68. He was best known for playing Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake on the hit TV series MASH. Dancer and actor Gregory Hines was born 80 years ago this week. He died in August 2003 at the age of 57. He was a celebrated tap dancer who starred in such movies as The Cotton Club and White Nights. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Virginia have been lowered to honor the memory of former delegate Charles Poindexter. Flags in Massachusetts have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Robert Russell Arnold. Flags in Florida have been lowered to honor the memory of the 14 students and 3 staff members killed in the 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Flags in Delaware have been lowered to honor the memory of former state legislators George Bunting and John Viola. Flags in Illinois have been lowered to honor the memory of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. Flags in New York have been lowered to honor the memory of former Representative Richard L. Ottinger. Flags in Rhode Island have been lowered to honor the memory of the victims of the tragic shooting at Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.